shirt even in the Arctic.
No, only a vest. It's not bare shirt. It's not bare-chested weather.
That's right. That's what I meant.
So yeah, he just means
need a vest.
Yeah, you must have at least a string vest
string
on.
vest.
Yes, certainly, to show your fat shoulders.
It's all about layers.
Do you have a string vest?
Fat shoulders.
Apparently I've got fat shoulders, haven't I?
It's all about the
you've got
base
fat
layer.
Yes.
Okay, so timing tower above the pit lane just flashed 30 and just went off again.
Yeah, we've got about a minute before the qualifying session starts. It's 90 minutes, and I think we've already deduced that will be our faster runners, and from that we mean our A6 class, our 997 class, SPX, SP2. I'm not sure. I think the SP3s will run in the next session.
With essentially the touring car. Yes, probably right.
Yeah, if I remember right from Barcelona. That's
although the crossbow and the Seeker, you would think, might go out.
If you remember, Martin, what we had in Barcelona was very wet track conditions, variable track conditions for the first part of qualifying, and then along came the slower classes, and that they actually put themselves on the front of the grid.
Well remembered. I had completely forgotten it went wet to dry, didn't it?
Yes.
In fact, it went really quite wet to dry.
Quite wet to dry.
And you're absolutely right. All the touring cars, the first 10, 12 places were touring car cars, weren't they?
That's right. The overall pole was a touring car. Wasn't it a Seat or something?
It was the Speedworks Ginetta, wasn't it? It was one of the
Yes, it
Ginettas.
was. It was a Ginetta, GD4 Ginetta.
And the organisers took the sensible decision to start the fastest cars at the front. So the pit lane is open. Qualifying is underway for the Epilogue in Brno, the final race of the 2014 24 Hours International Endurance Series here on RadioLeMans.com. Martin Haven, Joe Bradley, and in the pit lane, Nick Damon. First cars out on track are touring cars. We have a BMW, so it looks as though we may have a mixed session with everybody going out.
Is it everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, it is everyone. That's okay, that's different. It's not two halves. Everyone, just in a Clio going out and everyone else. So it's a general hour and a half for everybody.
Well, we have a mere 50 cars to qualify, so it's not like it's going to be busy.
I can hear the word traffic already. All the a lot of the A6 cars have peeled off to the right to pick up some fuel. So obviously they aren't allowed to fuel them in the garages. The only way they can get any more fuel into them is by going to the petrol station, exchanging their credit card and their Tesco tokens, club card points, and getting some fuel from there.
It's actually double points as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. On your Nectar card. A perspicacious team manager in the last 5 minutes of free practice would have made sure that his car went into the petrol station so they were ready for the full hour and a half of qualifying.
I have no way of knowing because I don't know what that word even means.
Clever.
Well, no, because you don't want to be running qualifying with a full tank.
I didn't say fill it up. I just said make sure you've got the amount of fuel in so you don't waste qualifying time sitting in a queue at the petrol station.
Yeah, but we've got 90 minutes, Martin, and I don't think that would be, massively important. It's a 5.5 kilometre track, well, just under, if you're going to be pedantic, 5.5 Ks. It's quite a spacious track in the sense of there's plenty of room. However, what you do not want to be doing is having to go offline on a qualifying run because this is a track where you have to be very, very precise. And as I said very, very early on in our broadcast, it's the sort of track where you can be lulled into a sense of security. We heard one of the drivers being interviewed by Nick mention about being precise and keeping the car on the optimum line, and it being very easy to lose that line by going in too fast and being sucked into the corner, because the entry to these complex sequence of corners are very, very quick. However, this sometimes means a bit of a compromise, slow in, fast out, that's the say.
First car to start a flying lap is the local hero BP Autosports BMW. One of the A5 class cars, not quite sure who's in the 78 car at the moment. It's something that we're trying to... Let's have a look and see if we can guess. No, can't guess. Not sure which of the 4 Czech drivers would be the most A, speedy or B, knowledgeable around the circuit, but he's out in his BMW, and meanwhile just in front of him is the Lamborghini Huracan, who is looking for an early quick lap as well. And I imagine that might be Isaac Tutumlu, the Kurdish-born Spaniard. and he has certainly got the quickest car on track at the moment. None of the other real front runners in the big GT classes have gone out yet. So he is definitely doing what we said would be a good idea, which is to go out nice and early, set a lap, and then see how qualifying develops. And of course, with a 50-car entry, there will be times when the track is very, very busy. At the moment, there is only another dozen cars on track, as well as the Huracan. So if this is up to Toulouse, then this is exactly the time he needs to be out there trying to get a lap or two out of this car.
It's great to see that car in this series. It's great to see that car in any series. And there's the
KTM we're seeing on the screen. If you are listening on radiolemans.com, you can also join us at 24-hour series websites. That's 24H series, all one word, .com. And you'll see the live streaming pictures. The KTM Crossbow, of course, developed as an open car in GT4 spec. It's got a full roll cage, a big hoop across the front of the driver's cockpit, and then it has a big closed-down cockpit. I said about this car the first time I saw Reiter Engineering's GT4 car, if Darth Vader had a race car, that's what it would look like. If you imagine this shuttle, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it is, and it's a great piece of kit. When you see one of these things up close, the engineering on them, on these cars, are of a very, very high standard. It's a shame we haven't got two of them.
Beside it, the white car, which is now more black than white, is a bit more together than it was, although we did hear from Thomas Hager saying that one of his co-drivers, I don't know whether it's Reinhard Koepler or Naomi Schiff, who have been the regular drivers of that car all year, one of them went off, hit a barrier, and it punched one of the suspension arms through the tub, so they are out for the weekend, but the team are working on it, so maybe it's not quite as out as we had thought.
Well, if they've done the tub, they'll have to get someone overnight to redo the carbon fibre, which we often see at Le Mans, but I'd be surprised if they can do it here. But as you say, suddenly there's 6 people in the corner looking at it, so
yes.
possibly...
Suddenly might be the word there, actually, is that somebody's arrived from somewhere with some... I'm not sure what part of Germany Reiter Engineering are in. However, we are only 4 or 5 hours by driving from the Ruhr Valley, so we're not the Rhine Valley.
Yeah, they've actually they've taken the corner off, and the corner is obviously already repaired and sorted out. And there's a lot of staring for something that's definitely out.
What is it? What does the pick-up point look like? What exactly has put the car out, Nick? Has the pick-up points on the carbon tub been destroyed?
Let me have a quick shift. I'm one of the 11 people looking around here. And, oh yeah, the lower arm, you can actually see it, the lower arm where it mounts directly into the tub, it's punched back, the back of it.
Yeah.
So
So there's a destroyed tub.
I reckon, as I said before, if this was somewhere near a fabricator, like, you know, Petit Le Mans is as well, Atlanta, you can it's about a 10-minute fix.
Yeah.
But if without the autoclaving and the ability to do it, it's what they do. I can see how annoyed they are, because that's a 10-minute fix, but they can't do it here.
Which doesn't mean that it can't be done. Fastest lap, by the way, is everybody's favourite flying Finn of the weekend, Marcus Paltella, in the Senke Motorsport BMW Z4, 2:02.36. That's the fastest lap we've had, full stop. Lance David Arnold goes second quickest in SPS Automotive's Mercedes 2:02.74. The previous fastest lap was a 2:02.741. So we are already setting new lap records. Adrian Renauer, third in the HB Racing Team Porsche. Now these cars are all in the A6 class. Christian Frankenhout has got fourth in the Hoffa Racing Mercedes. That is car number 10, also in A6. And the SPX Leipert Motorsport Lamborghini, which is incidentally why Reiter are now KTMing, because Leipert Motorsport is the officially blessed team for developing the new Huracan after many years of Reiter Engineering swimming against the tide, trying to make Lamborghinis work when Lamborghini really weren't that fussed whether they did or didn't. Anyway, Leipert Motorsport, fifth quickest, is actually Toulouse Lopez. His full name here. Yeah, he's shortened to Toulouse. The number 22 Huracan is fifth quickest, and that best lap at 2:12.28. So you can see what a big performance gulf there is between the SPX car, which is quasi GT4, not quite into GT3, and developed GT3 Mercedes or BMW.
And also such a variation in time. Yes, you've got very relatively close. There's a second gap in time between Paltala and Lance David Arnold. Paltala just extending that pole position to a 2-minute 1.7, just under a full second faster than the second place SPS Automotive Mercedes of Lance David Arnold, car 33 that is. This is 2-minute 2.7. And then we've got a 2-second gap, 2.3-second gap to Alfa Brno, HB Racing's Porsche, also in the A6 class, car number 7 in 3rd place overall.
A3T fastest lap at the moment is 7th quickest. That's car number 205, which is the Peugeot 208. Is it the 50th anniversary 205, 25th anniversary? That's fastest car at A3T. The Alcar Tuning Seat Leon, car number 94, is second, vaguely and only just in front of another Seat 98 car, which is the NKPE car. And they've all been deposed because Colroy's has just gone second quickest in SP3. No, he's not. He's gone top in SP3 in the Lotus Evora GT4. Colroy's are now having started over 900 races using and counting.
That car to be reckoned with, certainly in that class, and had a great run in Barcelona overall, and was the front of the field, the overall field, that is, not just in class.
Marcos Paltala, Lance David Arnold and Adrian Brennauer are the fastest. Paltala goes across the line in a 2:06.19. The best time, though, he set last time round, 2:01.79. And Lance David Arnold, Mercedes, 0.95 of a second behind. So what are the classes? A5, our fastest car at the moment, has just changed nose, it's been pushed down. That's Manuel Vitek in the BP Autosport BMW number 78 car. And what ilk of BMW is 78?
We've got a car, just had a little bit of a innocuous spin out there on the track. That's the Red Camel Jordan's car 101. That's the Seat Leon of a familiar name to Radio Le Mans listeners, Piers Maserati, Andy Dimitru, and Chris Papagiorgio. Not sure who is at the wheel of the 101 car, but the car we just saw spin on our screens, got onto the damp offline part of the track and just lost the back end.
It's Andy Dimitru.
Andy Dimitru in that car, I'm told.
We're naming names. It says so on the timing screen.
Yes, it
so
does.
if it's not teams,
We apologise.
we don't apologise. We say make sure your driver nomination's clear.
Very good idea. Let's do that.
Yes, if we
Quite
accuse
aggressive.
you of being the driver who spins it or bins it, and it wasn't you, it's because one of either you or the team have not made the correct changes when the driver changes happened. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I'm liking this, blaming the teams for our mistakes. Brilliant.
No,
Fantastic.
Only Martin Haven could do that.
I'm reading it off the timing screen, which is the only source of information we have until we see a driver get out and take his helmet off.
No, I must admit, this is to me is a work of genius.
Yes. I only work on the information I'm given. So we have one of our KTM crossbows, which is car number 80, the RTO project car. And that's the GT4 car. And we heard from Thomas Enger how really severely limited they are in terms of RPM. The normal car, the full-fat GT3 car will rev to 7,000 RPM at limit, Thomas was saying, but the GT4 car has been restricted to 5,000 RPM in the first 4 gears, and then 5th and 6th, they have the heady heights of being allowed to rev it all the way to 5.5, which even for a road car isn't really very much, is it?
Should be a while between rebuilds, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Should
forever.
be.
Decades.
Yeah. Again, that plays into the hands very nicely of the kind of ethic behind this series. You know, they want to be able to race. They don't want to be having to have huge amounts of funding to actually come and enjoy their racing.
And that rev limit is something that's been sort of imposed by the car in GT4 spec to run in the FIA GT4 European Series. As Thomas was saying, they actually won the AM class category with one race weekend to go with the KTM crossbow, and it's been running in the Speed Series as well in GT4 spec. And Thomas's two co-drivers, or hoped-for co-drivers this weekend have been doing most of the development driving. South Africa's Naomi Schiff and Austria's Reinhard Kofler. Thomas, fortunately, as he was saying to Nick Damon half an hour or so ago, his return to racing at home in the Czech Republic here in Brno, first time since 2010, has rather hit the buffers or the retaining barriers.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that, because those cars do look fantastic out on track. They look like a, you know, like a prototype almost, like a prototype sports car, but very affordable prototype sports car. There we see the number 80 again, and we see a lot wider dry line there appearing. Not quite sure. Tight view on the car, the number 80 KTM car, so can't quite see where we are on track. I think we could be at turn 8 and 9 as we go back into the pit lane.
Thumbs up from the Russian Bears. Russian Bear. Now, I'm not sure if the Russian Bears racing team is or the Bears for Russia racing team is quite the same as Russian Bears used to be, which was a team that was based in the Netherlands, which ran Victor Shapovalov, among others, in touring car racing in the late noughties. Victor has now transmuted into the boss of the Lada Sport team, which runs the World Championship. Certainly Russian Bears Racing was the team that ran them for several years in BMWs. We've now got BMWs with Bears for Russia as the racing team, so quite what the relationship is, whether it's just Russians like Bears or not, I don't know.
Aren't Russians quite, you know, dancing bears and that sort of thing?
Well, no, the bear is one of the symbols of Russia, the same way the bald eagle is of the USA. So the Russian bear, I mean, historically the Russian bear was you know, what was used in all the caricaturists' view of Russia for a century and longer.
Just to confirm for our listeners, you are listening to RadioLeMans.com and...
Not geopolitical discussions from the 1950s.
We have got live TV streaming on the 24H Series.com website. That's 24HSeries.com. Live TV streaming to you. And we are at the 12-hour epilogue at Brno, the final round of the 24-hour series 2015. And right now, we're in the midst of our qualifying session with 1 hour and 14 minutes remaining on the clock. We've got all of our classes on track. It's an open pit lane, and right now track conditions are improving.
Yeah, and there's not really anybody treating it as a qualifying session. There's people getting in the car who didn't get in the car in the first hour and a half open practice we had just seen. For example, Christian Franken, who's just on his first lap, I think.
Really?
Yeah, they basically decided they're going to get there. They're going to rotate, use the first probably 2 hours, then worry about times later.
Yeah.
Because there is no reason to suspect that the fog's going to come down, and there's no reason to suspect the heady heights of 11 degrees track and 8 degrees air are going to change. So the track can only get better as time goes on and more cars go around it.
I would think the track could only get colder as the evening.
You know, saying that, Martin, I don't think, you know, it's been solidly 7 and 8 degrees for the last 5 hours, and the track temperature hasn't improved either. I'm lucky to have an indicator in front of me, and I would think that for the next hour, it's not going to change again.
No, I agree, but I'm surprised that after 90 minutes of free practice, Christian Frankenhout has not been out in the car.
Oh, he's just done his first run, so he did 15, 18 minutes just now.
Okay.
And to be honest, the track is going to be better the longer we keep running.
Yeah.
So the optimum lap is going to come towards the final few minutes of this 90-minute session.
We've now had 42 of our 50 cars leave the pit lane. We should have 51 because the KTM Crossbow that Thomas Enger was due to drive didn't go out in the free practice session this afternoon. Went out in paid training this morning in very much damp conditions and had his accident. Just seen Matteo Cressoni go out in number 44, which is RFD Racing's Ferrari. It's one of the SP2 class cars, so it's the less well-developed 458 Italia of the two red cars that are sitting in the same garage. Also seeing Ram Racing, Mercedes heading out onto track, car number 30, Thomas Jaeger. Now, he's the man in the team, Tom Onslow Cole was telling us, with the experience, the prior experience of Brno. He raced here in the FIA GT1 Championship. Bradley's got his hand up. Joe?
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think what we're seeing at Ram Racing is what Nick described. Thomas Jaeger didn't take any part in that previous 90 minutes, and this is his first run of the day in that car.
Actually, sorry to contradict you. He did the first few laps when it was streaming wet. Yeah. He's had no dry laps.
Right, yeah, and he really has not acquired any kind of experience of that car at this track. He might be your track specialist, but he still needs a bit of time to chip off the rust around here.
Well, again, you know, he knew where he was going, whereas the other two didn't. Yeah. So definitely in free practice, they were the ones that should have had more time and did as a result. So there's a few cars going out, a few cars coming back in. And Phil Quaife has just gone out in the Mamak Ogilvy St. Leon. Now, those guys won their class championship last time out in Barcelona and were beyond overjoyed. I'm not quite sure how far beyond, but certainly in a planet that orbits overjoyed, but is quite a lot further away from the sun. So Ramsey Neville and Sammy Muchan and Phil Quaife in the Mehmet Ogilvy Dual Racing St. Leon Cup Racer. We have figured out in our brain-melting points meeting earlier on, and they had already worked out quite comfortably without any grey matter being expended probably, that they could actually win everything, including ownership of the Czech Republic and the circuit, if they win their class here. They could conceivably be class champions, class team champions, overall drivers champions, and could the team be the overall team's champion as well?
Yep.
I think basically they could win pretty much everything. So if they have a good weekend,
there's no reason why not. They're a very competitive entity.
They've not been off the podium this year.
No, absolutely, and it's very, very doable. You know, you couldn't wish for a more exciting finish to the series.
So no pressure.
No pressure. No, not at all.
Not from us, definitely.
To be honest, Martin, a 12-hour race, that doesn't affect how you're going to approach the race. You have got to approach the race in exactly the same fashion if you want to do well on a race-by-race basis. You know, you're going to have to just go round and round and just see where you pop out the other end. I suppose the added pressure does bring about make no stupid mistakes and don't be a hero.
Well, it brings its own pressure at 12-hour race, because that's the basic rule of thumb in any endurance race. Don't hit stuff.
Certainly a great picture there on our TV screens of a tyre that's just come off the number 22 Lamborghini, and you can see, even though we haven't got ideal track conditions, those tyres are working perfectly. Look at the way that the tread there, you can see the way the surface of the tread has melted.
Yes.
That shows that the tyre is working well. There's a little bit of pickup, which is not a problem, but the way that tyre looks melted on the surface, that's a good indication that the tyre is working as it should be.
Well, the other significant thing was how much it was steaming, because although there is a dry line on the track, which is where the heat was built up in the tyre, when it came down the pit entry road and all the way along the pit road, it's still soaking wet. So it had a nice little coating of water to steam off the hot rubber. For Peter Koss, one of the Ferraris, and their not quite inability to use the tyre, they just don't use the tyre as well as some of their other rivals. The car's not as well dialed in, and as a result, it tends to slide if you try and use the tyre for too long.
We have a code 60, Martin, a code 60, which is a purple flag with a white emblem in the middle with the number 60 to indicate that we are now neutralising the whole of the circuit, and everyone will slow down to 60 k's, 60 kilometres an hour.
And that is because we have got an incident down at turn 10. We've had yellow flags out. A local yellow has now been replaced by a full course caution. And the reason for that, to go to code 60, is to give everybody another chance to rehearse how the whole thing works. Not the teams and drivers so much, but the team here at the circuit in Brno, who have not had to use this system before. Normally you have a local yellow or a safety car, but this is a kind of combination of the best of both parts.
Gives race control, you mean? It gives race control.
Race control, the marshals, the rescue crews and everybody else, a feel for what it's like when this thing happens. We did have an incident at turn 10. Yellow flags were out at turn 10, and so whoever's gone off halfway up the hill will be rescued, dragged back, flatbedded and what have you. And it allows the race to be sort of frozen in aspic and the cars to continue to move, but without gaining or losing ground to each other when they're on the track. But it also allows things like flatbed trucks to move around and tow trucks to move around and rescue cars and get them back into competition.
When did you start living at Downton Abbey?
Frozen in aspic.
Frozen in aspic?
It's a thing.
It's not, because aspic's a jelly.
Yes. He's got a
Aspic is a jelly. You can't freeze something in aspic.
Frozen in amber, then.
No, you solidify an amber, it doesn't freeze, no temperature involved. 91, one of the marked cars, the Limbus Camilleri and Kawasaki car, has been off, and I can tell that because they are removing vast amounts of gravel from it. So that's not. I'll see if I can speak to Jake Camilleri. I have no idea of his responsibility. Jake, they are taking the gravel out of your car. Were you responsible or somebody else?
No, I was. No, we were on a good lap. We'd just done one, and I just sort of had a little bit more grip than I did in the rear, and just into the double right-hander down the bottom. I don't know what turn it is, but yeah, just lost the rear down there.
I mean, how tricky is it out there? I mean, is there now a dry line you can run round, or is it still a bit sneaky?
No, it's pretty much a dry line all the way around. If you get off that a little bit, yeah, it's still a little bit damp out there, but no, it's pretty right now.
So this weekend, is this a friendly garage, or is it a bitter rivalry between the two teams? You both go for the championship in class.
There is a little bit of a battle going on between the two, but look, they're both pretty even. It's been like that all year, so we'll just wait and see what happens.
I mean, yeah, you've got a lot of people from the Southern Hemisphere, very competitive bunch. You know, I can't see you handing out, helping each other out. Is one set of mechanics only allowed to work on one car? No passing of information. You know, a big wall in the garage.
No, we're pretty good. We all help. All the mechanics, all the techs are, yeah, between the two cars. So.
So I thought I'd try and stir something up, didn't work. Anyway, back to Martin Haven's world of Edwardian eating.
Well, at least they're still on the same side when they're watching the rugby. I suppose there's something.
No, because New Zealanders and Australians.
Are New Zealand still in it?
Yeah, only England are out because we're rubbish at rugby.
No, it's just a warm-up for Tokyo 2020.
Couldn't care less.
There you go.
It's not a proper sport. Just made up by people who don't like football to try and have something to do with a Saturday.
Well, I always say if it doesn't make your ears bleed, it's not a proper sport. But actually, rugby
cauliflower ears, yeah.
It does sort of fall into that category. Not from noise, obviously, but it does definitely fall into that category.
Who am I working with here?
Do you know what? I think I might be taking a layer off.
Really?
I'm getting quite warm now.
Really? I was just getting a little bit chilly.
He's finally generated enough kilojoules from his jaw movements to warm himself up.
Nick returned to us there mid-Twix, however. That's
mid-Twix?
Mid-Twix.
Mid-Twix, yeah. I can see that the track temperature and the ambient temperature hasn't changed, Nick. It's still 11 track, 8 ambient.
It is?
Oh, it's gone to 9. Did you see that?
Yes!
Just as we were speaking there.
Wow.
It's gone to
Does
9.
it feel warmer?
Well, Haven, my own little personal thermometer here, has felt the increase in temperature, ambient-wise, and has taken off a layer.
These days,
just as the thermometer went to 9.
Well, these days, since losing some weight, he's looking more and more like a thermometer, isn't he, really?
Talking of which,
no,
it's Captain Haddock.
Hello, everybody. This is my moment to shine. Luckily, both people watching the stream will see that, so that's good. Oh, hang on. Right.
You can
Come
see
with
your
me.
layers as well.
These are our two Ferraris.
Have a quick look around the ingredients.
That is the SP2, so that's a Ferrari Challenge. Let's look at the difference here. So look at this, look, completely flat on the wheel arches, okay? Now, you come this way, he's doing it a bit proper. So that's a Ferrari Challenge, very normal car. Move over to the GT3, the most obvious difference is the completely sculpted aero. As you come around here, and there it is a sculpted aero around the sides, and it's completely differently designed on the side. I mean, there are many other differences. For example, if you actually look at the engine cover, it looks the same. If you look at the nose, it looks the same. But it's all this sort of extra aero work here and around the back that's where the big change is.
So what you're saying is...
Adrian Newey is quaking in his shoes.
I know, that massively accurate description of what it all does. It's a bit shapey, differenty.
OK, so what you're saying essentially is it's got Group 4 Forest arches.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But
it looked like self-tapped on as well.
They are.
But if you look at the front, it's exactly the same.
Yes.
The nose, look. So this bit here...
We're not with you, Nick.
We're not saying...
No,
we
it's
are now.
yes, this bit here is exactly the same. If you come back again... Sorry, I'm going to make the cameraman come with me. See, that looks exactly the same again, you see? Yeah. So certain bits are the same, and then certain bits are where the GT3 is allowed to develop.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And to stop me doing this again, the GT3 car disappeared off. So that's OK. But anyway, thank goodness I got to that today, because if I did it tomorrow, it would make no sense to people listening, so that's fine. Thanks.
Perfect. So we are still under code 60, which means that there's been no progress yet in setting a new fastest lap. Fastest lap is the number 32 Senka Motorsport BMW Z4, 2 minutes 1.793. So, okay, we finished our free practice going down from a 2 minute 30 at the beginning to a 2 minute 2.7. We're now a second quicker than that. We are going to be inside 2 minutes, aren't we, before this is done?
Yeah, I think so. We've still got an hour to go, so it's still not, you know, it's still not witching hour. It's car number 80 that appears to have caused this code 60, and that information there is that it will be returned to its pit box. Now, the great thing about the Kravontic series and the 24-hour series is that even if your car is recovered back to the pit box by a truck, you are disadvantaged purely by the amount of time it's took for the officials to recover your car and bring it back to the pit box. It doesn't mean you're out of the race because you've been taken on outside assistance. It means that if you can get the car repaired and back out there, you're still in the race. And a bit disappointing because there are no official retirements in this series, and Haveney is so disappointed that he is yet to unsheath his marker of doom because there's just no need for it, because we never have retirements. You're still in the race till the very, very end. And as Martin has just indicated, still in the race till the very, very end. I'm sure Nick is going to make his way down to the number 80 pit.
I am there.
You are there. Is there any kind of information coming back to the team as to the extent of the damage?
They're kind of wandering around going, oh, goodness gracious, we lost one car. What's going on now?
I was about to say.
What you can tell is there is a kind of a combination of arm-folded resignation and pacing around, waiting for it to turn up, seeing how bad it is.
As a famous comment about wives go, to lose one can be regarded as misfortune. To lose two should be deemed carelessness.
That's parents, not wives.
Wives.
No, it's parents.
No,
the quote,
wives.
Oscar Wilde, it's parents.
Wives.
Martin, trust me, you're wrong. You have lost a million havens. The quote is Oscar Wilde.
We are down from 2 KTM crossbows to...
None, or one.
Sort of one and counting, yeah.
And now we've added to our disagreement about aspic, our disagreement about quotes from Oscar Wilde. Once again, we cannot get into the 19th century, let alone the 20th.
We are not disagreeing about frozen in aspic.
We are. It's jelly aspic.
Once again, everyone, you're listening to RadioLeMans.com. And you have actually got live TV streaming on 24hseries.com. It is motorsport that we're talking about here.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were rehearsing for Downton Abbey.
We are into less than an hour of qualifying. Just to remind everybody, it's an open session. All of our classes are qualifying together. We haven't split the classes. You can choose when or when not to go out on track. At the moment, we've got a track condition that is coming to us all the time. That ever-widening light grey strip of tarmac on this really wide Brno circuit is getting wider and wider as the session goes on. And whether or not we're close to an actual, what I would consider an optimum lap of Brno remains to be seen. Well, fastest time so far, Nick, is a 2:17, and I think we're probably going to be seeing 1:59.
It's way more than that. I mean, given the way the temperature's rocketing up now, it's at 9. No, seriously, I mean, my guess is that should we do a little thing? We've got an hour to go. Let's guess poll.
Well, we will get an optimum lap, just to pick you up on that, Bradley, because optimum means the best in the conditions.
I think that poll is going to be 1:57.5.
Oh, that's brave. 57
and a half.
I was thinking maybe 50, high 58s, but okay. Well, right.
I'm putting into our sweepstake 57.5. You're going 58.9, are you?
I'm going to go low 59s.
Okay, there we go.
ND
You heard it here
157.5, MH 158.8, let's say, and
Bradders.
JB,
how many havens are we betting here?
We're not. This is a sweepstake.
59.2, yeah.
Yeah, but how many havens do we win?
You don't win any.
It's got to be 1,000 to start with.
Oh, it's got to be 1,000, and then it goes up to 1,000,000. Green flag, 1,000,000 havens.
That sounds like Tim's quiz show counting. Every single question counts for a point, apart from the last, that's 4.9 billion.
Exactly. Well, this green flag is out, and everybody has been freed up once more to return to full racing pace here at the Circuit of Brno. We are in the qualifying 90-minute session. We have 57 minutes remaining here for the final final round, the epilogue of the 2015 24-hour series of international endurance races. Live on RayLeMans.com across the globe, and you can find streaming pictures as well on 24hseries.com. So stay with us for the action from qualifying. Later on today, we will also be bringing you night practice, which starts at 19:15 Central European Summer Time. An hour of night practice, and then tomorrow's race will be live on air and on Motors TV across Europe from 11:30 Central European Summer Time for 12 hours. Motors will drop in and out for a couple of other unrelated issues. We'll be bringing you full coverage, flag to flag, here on RayLeMans.com.
We've certainly got a lot of coverage from 4:20 Central European time right the way through to half hour after the finish of this race, which is
excellent. The podiums will be on there then.
Yep. Yeah, we will have a podium ceremony for everyone.
Presented by Jay Bradley at the wire.
We'll keep an eye at the front of this field though, because we are getting towards the serious part of qualifying. The clock is ticking ever more, 55 minutes remaining. I don't think the pressure's on yet.
Well, it may not be at the end of the session that we get the fastest laps. For instance, second quickest car at the moment is the number 11 Scuderia Praha Ferrari, the local team, sponsored by Bohemia Energy, the local energy company. Peter Cox at the wheel, which suggests that this will be their qualifying run. And that car currently second quickest, 0.26 away. Third fastest car at the moment is number 33, and that's the SPS Automotive Mercedes, and Alex Muller at the wheel of that. And again, you may well suspect that this will be the guy who is handed the keys to the qualifying setup. Thomas Jaeger in the Ram Racing Mercedes, car number 30, currently lies in 5th place. Again, I'm sure that he will be trying to get a good qualifying lap out of it. At the moment, about half of our 46 cars are out on track. A few of them have yet to set a time, actually. James Kay, the number 92 car, has yet to set a lap. That's one of the Mark Cars Australia's, isn't it? Mark Cars 1 or 2?
I think that's 2, 92. 91 is the Mark Cars 1.
Sorry, the Mark Car was having its engine oil changed.
Oil
92.
change?
Yeah, they were dumping the oil out the bottom of it.
It was, or they were?
Oh, they were. They were collecting the oil at the bottom. I assume it's a deliberate event, because they one of them doing it. They weren't panicking. It was just one bloke changing the oil.
Can you find out why, Nick? That's a bit of a strange thing to see.
Yeah, I will do. Listen, I thought I've walked down the far end now to check the petrol pumps, and they're all empty.
Right, so no one's at Sainsbury's.
No, they've all got their green shield stand sorted out.
Yeah. What he means is nobody is being fueled rather than there is no fuel to be had.
Yes, it's not 1974 again.
Camera's picking up Coroiser's Lotus Exige, and I just wanted to have a little look at that. That car was fastest in A5 earlier on, and has now been shuffled down the order. I want to see who else was in that car. There's a name I didn't recognise, and because my entry list is not in, my pictorial entry list is not in car number order, I'm now completely lost. Oh, yes, Danny Van Dongen. And there's a little problem for our fastest Seat. The number 26 car's got a left rear puncture stroke suspension car. Whoops, because it is smoking heavily from the left rear. Danny Van Dongen, Dutch driver who has spent a couple of years racing a little prototype that is built bizarrely, given its name, in Slovakia. It's the Praha. In fact, it's a left front puncture on the 98 car. He's been off. He's ripped some of the floor off the left-hand side of the car as well, and there is now no rubber attached to the rim, so he is three-wheeling back. He hasn't ripped part of the floor because it's missing on the passenger side as well. So
it's like the sill, isn't it?
Yeah, and the sill is cut back about halfway along to the back of the door. Obviously, that's an aero tweak.
He must have hit another car because the curbs here at Brno are from MotoGP, so they're very low and flat.
Well, not necessarily. He could run over some debris and puncture the tyre, because there was no damage on the left front bodywork. That was all intact. Number 80 KTM has got a left rear corner very much astray.
Front left corner.
Yeah,
I think the left-hand side of the car is a little bit out of alignment.
Well, definitely the left rear suspension
Ooh,
is.
yes,
No,
you're
he's
right.
gone in backwards on the left rear corner, so the right front wheel, or the left front pointing hard right is, no, okay, so it's got a massive amount of toe in. The left front wheel is turning hard right, and the right front wheel is turning hard left. However, it has gone in backwards on the left rear corner, because we can see the bodywork is also deranged. So between two broken ones, for spares or repair, you might be able to get one good one.
Is that car tricky to drive?
What language was that?
Yeah, it was kind of my
anticipating.
bemused language. Is that car tricky to drive? We've had two of those cars off today. All right, the conditions are changeable, but it's the best conditions we've seen. Are the drivers trying too hard? Are they overdriving? Or is that car a little bit edgy?
I haven't seen it be particularly vicious on its handlers before now, and I have seen quite a lot of KTM Crossbow racing this year.
There's the number 20, the number 20 Porsche.
Two fat ducks, number
two.
two.
And it's the RSGT Racing. That's the American liveried car, the American flag liveried car. Charles Portman, Charles Espinal, and Christian Engelhardt got off into the gravel on the final sequence of turns, turn 13 and 14. Just as he turned in, got in a little bit deep, car swapped lanes, and ended up drifting into the gravel trap. Another car off the circuit is the number 162 Ginetta. Now that car has pulled up.
That's because he's facing the wrong way, isn't he?
No, he's not facing the wrong way at all.
Oh, he's looking
Car
down at his
162.
dashboard, so something inside is not the way it should be. I'm going to name names in the number 20 car. Of our two American gentleman drivers, it was Christian Engelhardt, the former Porsche Super Cup champion, who wins the Porsche, not our two gentleman drivers. So Porsche factory driver Christian Engelhardt wins the number 20 car in the gravel. 13 has caught out a lot of people. You come over a little rise, and it's a really quite fast approach to that corner. And because the car's in the gravel, we are going code 60 again. Those of you watching the streaming on the 24-hour series website will see the rather sorry state of the KTM.
It's broken, isn't it?
It's pretty broken.
I don't know quite how they've managed to take both the front and the rear suspension out, but leave the whole side of the car pretty much unaffected.
Yes.
That's impressive crashing.
Yeah, that's some stellar stuff. You can have a look at the Seat that comes past you with three wheels on his wagon as well very shortly.
Oh, he's smoking. I can see that it's
and
the
we've
front right.
also got another car off,
Front left,
that's
sorry.
101, which has gone off, which... No, we don't have a 101.
Let's have a look at these
101,
Seat.
are you in trouble?
The 98.
It's a Red Camel Jordan
Ooh,
Seat Cup Racer.
That looks like... Oh, he has damaged his side tray, as you said.
Well, no, because if you look on the other side,
Really?
it's cut away
well,
halfway down the door
That's not
as
cut
well.
away, that's broken.
Yeah, well, the other side is cut away as well.
The
So
other side is cut away. You're absolutely right. They have cut it away, and it's broken the other side. I don't
Maybe he broke the other side last time out.
It's got to look. It's got the feeling about that they have broken both sides. This is very much a. Is it a failure of the tyre? Because there doesn't seem any accident damage around it.
Well, there's enough cars off, and actually there could well be some bits off this
He's
KTM.
not crashed that car.
No.
That has thrown the tyre.
The tyre's been lacerated by something.
There is a weird thing about how damaged the back of this area is here, whereas I'm pointing to the lower sill, which is, whilst you're absolutely right, they've cut it off one side, it's just broken this side as one of the mechanics rather inadvertently touches the disc brake, which is still quite warm. Finger taken away very quickly. I think it might be they've got a suspension problem actually that's taken it out, because they're not just going, oh, we're going to replace it. They're having a good old look at the...
Although the rim was nowhere near the ground.
Yeah, I think they may have had a suspension failure which took out the tyre, and I think then it's been run the ground on the nose, and that's what's probably effectively broken the left-hand lower sill, or skirt, I suppose, really, 'cause it's not actually a sill, it's not a load-bearing part of the car, it's just a plastic skirt, or it is plastic, luckily not carbon fibres, that'll save them a few quid.
Well, since the code 60 came out, we've now spotted about half a dozen cars off. 101 has gone off again, and that was...
That's the Seat
that was
Leon.
the same guilty party, wasn't it?
Dimitri.
Yeah. Oh, it was Andy Dimitri this time.
Yeah.
It wasn't him last time. Also, the Reukers Mark Carr's Australia car just sort of stopped for a bit of a chat and a cup of tea with the marshals, and is now driving up a side road.
That's sweet.
So, yeah, not entirely sweet for them. So that orange Mazda is now parked at the side of the road. And that's been run by the same team as 101, Red Camel Jordans. So their Seat is off. And it was Andy Dimitri who put it off the last time, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So that's 2 ventures into the trappage to gravel that he has managed.
We seem to have had a mass exodus off track, haven't we? Everywhere we look, we've also lost the 160 Ginetta. Remember, that's the
that's down. It's still at turn 1. Yeah, still at turn 1 on the grass on the outside, going nowhere far.
Sorry, Martin, it was one. I'm sure it was 162. It is. It's the number 162. Niederscheider Motorsport, Ginetta, Lucas Niederscheider, George Stefani, and Norbert Lenzweger. Car 162. We'll check to see who was actually in the car. It's Stefani in the car, and that car just pulled off down the start-finish straight, went past the pits, and then there was smoke coming from somewhere on the car, and I couldn't tell whether it was a locked brake, so the camera just flashed to it. Now he just pulled gently off the track and onto the grass just before the gravel trap. It's now being dragged along the edge of the circuit and out of harm's way by a snatch tractor.
Well, the giveaway that we could see was we could see into the cockpit, and the driver was not looking in his mirrors. He was looking down at the central console where all the idiot lights would have been flashing at him, going, I am going no further.
Yeah.
The big failure to proceed light was on.
Yeah, so
he's being dragged now because around the far end of the turn 1 gravel trap there is a wall to go back behind, and that is where he will be going back behind.
And you know what, Martin? That number 162 Ginetta is actually our 2nd place class SP3 runner, and it is in 26th place overall on a 2-minute 16.2. And then the only SP3 car ahead of it is in 18th place overall, and that's the Speedworks Aston Martin with Ollie Hankook, car 170 on a 2-minute 13. So the 162 Ginetta is not taking any further part in this qualifying session unless they can get the car back to the pits, and it was certainly being dragged by the snatch tractor in the opposite direction to the pits, but I'm sure the objective will be to eventually get it back in there so the team can find out what that problem was.
It's going to go back behind the wall, which is the gap in the barrier is right at the far end of the turn 1 gravel trap for safety, obviously, so it'll go back there. But you're right,
side of the track, isn't it?
The flatbed's going to be kind of busy because there's about 6 cars off at the moment. He's only just come back with a KTM. The flatbed drive will be on overtime soon.
Yeah, that was still 60.
The 98, which came in leaning on one side with its tyre on, the Seat, despite massive amounts of waggling of wheel, they have eventually decided there's nothing wrong with the suspension, put the tyre on and sent it back out again.
Seems reasonable to me. He'll find out.
Those cars are bulletproof.
He'll find out in a couple of corners, won't he? If it's still wobbling, he'll come back in.
The 92, I think it's 92, the Mark cars, which I was talking about having its oil changed. I think it's having its oil cooler changed actually now, because they've now got 2 of them working on the cooler. See if I can actually James. See if I can grab a quick word of James. Actually, he's lying around. He's going, James, quick word. And so this is the 92 Mark cars, one of the cars up in with a chance of the championship. James, we're halfway through the qualifying session. Unfortunately, your car's in bits. What's the problem?
Driver.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah. Somebody with my experience threw it in the barrier. Yeah.
Oh, so it actually went with actually not just a bit of gravel, but a barrier. So what damage has been done?
Well, it tore the front and the rear off, so we're just putting it back together. Luckily, the car's quite modular, so we can just throw bits away and put new bits on.
So not the best start for the weekend where you're in such serious competition with the other car in the garage.
Yeah, you could say that.
I mean, how seriously are you guys taking this into Nissan battle?
Well, at the end of the day, we want the Mark car to win the class for the team's championship, but I want to win as well, so I wouldn't be going motor racing if I didn't want to win.
So can they fix this in the next 45 minutes when you get out for a bit of qualifying?
They're going to try their hardest, otherwise we'll have to start from the back of the grid.
James, thank you very much. But see, when you're just walking up and down, you glance into a garage, you don't always see the whole story, do you?
You don't, do you? James Kay. Hello, England selectors. In trouble in the Emirates. James Kay playing that with a very straight bat, I thought. Yeah, that was probably digging in. Somebody with my experience, and indeed my name, may have thrown it into the gravel trap.
That was very honest of him, but when you said, Nick, they were changing the oil, that didn't figure You don't just change the oil during a qualifying session.
See, I haven't got your engineer's eyes. I looked down, saw them check the oil coming out the bottom, and they'd already taken the front of the car off, as James says, it's modular, so I hadn't seen any damage on the front.
I think he may have taken the front off. I think he may have assisted with that.
So, yeah, you know, that's it. So I can add to that, things you should, duct tape is good, tie wraps are good, oil change is bad.
Yeah.
Duct tape is good, tie wraps are gooder, as Bernd Schneider and his team proved in Barcelona.
Indeed, we'll talk about that later. We are green again, so we are qualifying once again.
The 51 car, and this is entirely a bit of it was one of the Porsche cars right at the back. They seem to have massively overspec'd the lights they use for indicating positions, because it is illuminating the entire back of the car like it's a fast food joint. It's entirely orange. You can't even have a kebab rotating in it. They've not gone with the simple, very thin ones you see, and they're just incredibly bright.
Is it just pigment?
Yeah, I think possibly it's like a 12-volt thing. They stuck 24 volts through it.
5,000 volts.
It's genuinely.
It's going full.
I actually walked towards it thinking it was on fire in the back.
No fast times recently, other than from where Peter Cox was in it. It sort of sneaked in a 2-minute 1.9 lap, which brings them to within 1400ths of the fastest time. Now, he was 4 or 5 tenths behind the car was when he went out. So Peter Cox has brought it in very close to the mark. However, he's now handed over to one of his 3 Czech teammates, Juri Pizaric, who is at the wheel at the moment. Andreas Muller in the number 33 car. He is still at the wheel, or back again at the wheel of the SPS Automotive car. Alex Muller, rather. And he's 3rd quickest, but still the fastest car in pit road at the moment, and so quite conceivably having another driver change. Time set by Marcus Paltiller for the Czech team, Senka Motorsport in their BMW Z4 GT3. Lennart Marionek, the German, and Robert Senka. And also on the entry list, we've got Thomas Erdelay, except I'm not sure he's been out in this session. So it's Tim Moss, Robert Senka. No, it's not. It's Lennart Marionek. At the moment, he's driving the car.
A driver that is really pushing out there is Pizanic in the skid area Ferrari. We've just seen the car cornering and using all the track, getting a lot of mid-corner oversteering, sliding and drifting the car wide over the curb, just touching the grass, just catching it really, really well. So he is pushing in that Ferrari, chasing down that pole position.
Well, this is the start of a flying lap, because his last one was out of the pits. It was a 7-minute 23. So that is him building up to speed out of the final couple of corners. And again, like in Hungaroring, speed through the last couple of corners is really very important at the beginning of the qualifying lap. One of our other high-flying competitors is the 95 Seat Leon, excuse me. And it looks as though they're building up for a bit of a qualifying lap as well. The Memic Overview Pure Racing car. It's an A3T, fastest car in A3T at the moment. Is the Team Altran Ergo number 205, isn't it? So that is the car they're chasing. And Ramsey Boutran is in 95 at the moment.
There's only just under 4/10 of a second the gap between those cars, Mark.
Ramsey's just gone out of the pits as well. And we've got a spinner, turn 10 again. See, now when it was wetter, turn 13 was catching everybody out. Now it's a long 160-degree turn 10 that is catching all our spinning spinners.
Spinning spinners. There is braking out there on the track as we go down towards the first turn. Mercedes SLS down the inside of the number 11 Ferrari. Couldn't quite see the number of what the Mercedes was as we watched the number 10. Hoffa Racing Mercedes just cornering through there. That car currently in 6th place overall. About 3 seconds, a full 3 seconds off the pole position. 10 at the wheel of that car is Christine Kroll, is it? Chantal
Mercedes is either the number 2 or the number 5 car. 2 is out, so it could be him. And number 5 is to remember where the coloured highlights on it were, but really make the very good note of that. SBS, Lance David Arnold and Alex Muller, they had their Mercedes third fastest. It stays third fastest. Has yet to improve on a 2:02.1. Moment at the top of our leaderboard, cars in the A6 class, which is effectively GT3. We've got two separated by 1400s. Third place is 4/10 back. Fourth place, 1.6 seconds away from the pole man at the moment. So it's a big gap. Sixth position is 3 seconds back, and those top half dozen are all in A6. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the championship, choose to run to a slightly different balance of performance within the same class. Less weight, more fuel you're allowed to take, but a slower target lap time they're not allowed to exceed. And we may see that happening here, but the organisers have yet to be able to decide, because there's been no running here ever, decide what the performance breaks might be for those particular cars. Just had an innocuous spin. Was that the 11
It
Ferrari?
was the 11 Ferrari. He's still pushing in that scary Praha Ferrari. They're in second place still 14 hundredths of a second off the pole position, and he's not going to get anywhere near it if he continues to overdrive like that.
Well, the real question there is not so much that he might not get on the front row of the grid or won't get on pole, but if they continue to drive like that in the race, they may not end up on the podium.
Yeah.
That is clearly going to be their target, to try and win this race at home. Pole, yes, fine. If Peter Cox can do it, it will be Peter Cox that does it. For the other three, for the three Czech drivers in the car, it's going to be about trying to win this race on their home track. That's not going to happen if you're chucking it in circles around.
So really struggling to get to grips with the handling of the Ferrari. Who was at the wheel of that car? It's,
The Z4's in the gravel, guys.
Which
what, sorry?
The Z4's fallen off.
Which one?
There's only one, isn't there?
No, there's two.
I can see, basically one of the garages has got one of the track cams up, and it's showing a Z4 that has impacted the barrier and then bounced back off the barrier again. It's camera 16, but I've no idea where it is in the track. But it is a Z4 that has had that accident. I don't know if it's the...
It's car 32 spun at turn 9.
It is car 32. It is our leader.
the top provisional
Pole man, and he's damaged it because he's hit the barrier.
Okay,
It's smacked at the front.
That is Thomas Airdelay, so I'm afraid.
So the pole position is there for Terry then, because he's not going to be able to improve. And we are getting down to that witching hour. Now, I was going to say earlier that I believe the final 20 minutes is going to be where we see guys coming in, bolting on what will be a fresh set of rubber, maybe scrubbed, minimising the fuel load and going for a time. We're getting towards that. We may even see in the last 30 minutes, Mark.
Well, that's where you need Thomas Enger, isn't it? Where is he when you need him?
He's in a garage, and they've shut the door in Le Mans retirement style because both of them are broken. But when they're actually retiring, the second one is questionable, obviously.
There's a fair degree of oofle dust can be sprinkled over them and magic them back to life for tomorrow.
Well, sure, between them they can make a car.
Well, that was my thinking. You know, for spares or repair, could make two for one good one.
There's several corners down, but you know.
What if they've damaged tubs, guys? Like
No, exactly, yeah.
The other car this morning.
Nothing. Look again. But they did say it was a very innocuous thing this morning. The damage on both, but whilst they had broken both left and right hand corners of the front and back on the left hand side of the other car, it didn't look serious. Perhaps what they're discovering is an innate weakness in the car, which they can sort out for next year. If it tubs things
into the barriers, it punches the suspension.
Well, no. If you stuck anything in the barrier, if as they said, these are light impacts, then you need to learn that needs to be sorted.
Well, that will be, more layering up of the tub if you're going to build it for motorsport purposes.
Or you put a larger and wider based mount to spread the load across a bigger amount of carbon fibre.
Yes.
Yeah, spread the load, you mean?
Yes.
That's engineering.
Oh, I've got some. Don't forget, I have built cars, just really small ones.
Yeah, that's true.
I've probably built more cars than you, Joe. Just in combined total, they don't add up to 1/10 of the one car you've built.
You probably have. You know who the biggest manufacturer of tyres worldwide is, don't you?
Tamiya.
Lego.
Lego, yeah.
Yes.
Lego
we
Ferrari F40 on everybody's
the
list.
one fight-
60 again.
Code 60 guy.
The one, yeah, they're going to have to rescue that 32.
Yes.
The 159, which I think you said had a problem, it's been pushed back into the pits. I'm trying to see if there's a problem that involves breaking something, or whether it's just a problem. No, it looks unscathed. That's a technical problem. So that's the 159, the Ivo and Rick Bruca's Mazda version of the Mark cars.
He was off in the gravel. They towed him back
right.
out, and then they pushed him back to terra
So
firma.
he's not crashed it, but he's gravelled it in
No,
some
he
way.
has crashed it.
No, it's not got any damage.
Hang on a minute, so if you put it in the gravel but you don't hit the barriers, that's not a crash?
No, that's an off.
Say that again. If you put
Put
it
it
Put it in the barrier, this is...
No, if you put it in the barriers, you've had a crash. If you put it in the gravel,
You've
but
had
don't
an
hit
off.
anything, you have an off. Yeah.
If you put it in the barriers, quite often you've had an off. I've had a bit of an off.
Well, it's the same
Can you
thing.
drive
I've
it
had
back?
an off followed by a crash.
I tell you what, guys, if you were Thomas Erdley in that number 32, you'd be really wanting them to take their time here. Just take your time, lads.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
oh,
feel
we forgot
free.
a bit.
Also, if you were Thomas Erdley, you'd be burning with embarrassment because he left the pits and got all the way to turn 9 before either crashing or having an off, whichever it is.
Yeah. Well, if
That was his out lap.
There are some great sponsors on these cars, by the way. Number 2 has All Stars on their car, which just looks like a really bad sort of 80s tribute band. Come and see the All Stars. And the Hoffa Racing have got the a jazz dance studio, and I desperately want them to turn up and do some jazz dance for us.
Well, could you just do jazz hands the next time?
I think, unfortunately, I've been given this clipboard, so no. Now I'm saying double glazing as well as doing pit walking. I can't. But I do like some of these sponsors. They're fantastic. They're not your normal, multi-billions. They're just someone who knows
You know,
it.
that is befitting the championship.
But interestingly, the same team that is
You're paying for it yourself.
the same team sponsored by All Stars, the 80s tribute band, are also sponsored by the European Grand Prix of Baku 2016.
Can you find out who the All-Stars are before we start referring them to as a 1980s tribute band for the rest of the weekend?
Can anyone tell you what the oxymoron of the European Grand Prix Baku is?
No.
Well, Baku's not actually really in Europe.
No, luckily there is another race in Europe on that same weekend
Yes.
in a nice part of France that we'll all be going to. So whatever happens in Baku, lovely though it is,
You've been,
I
haven't
shan't
you?
be paying much attention to it. I have indeed been to Baku.
Is it nice?
I was the first man ever to broadcast in English.
Is
a motor race
it
from
is it
Baku.
nice? It looks they throw a lot of money at things, don't they?
I was the first man ever to broadcast in English from Baku. A motor race commentary. Myself and around the town, we were there.
It's got very noisy again now because everyone's coming on this code 60.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
And actually, you're not exaggerating. Everyone has come in. There's not been a
And
single
guess
car
what,
go
Joe?
by.
Joe,
Yes, go on.
all your new tyres are going on.
I knew they would. It's perfect timing to bring out this Code 60 right now because there is no point whatsoever in just tootling round at 60 k's. We're going to come into the pits. We're going to minimise the fuel load. We're going to put some fresh rubber on, scrubbed or maybe not, and we are going to go out for the last 20 minutes or 15 minutes or wherever we might find ourselves and go for it.
And do you know what's going to happen now?
Go ahead.
About, of the 50 drivers, 44 are going to come back and say, well, I would have been on pole, but for traffic.
Do you know
Yes.
what?
Traffic.
Nick is also going to go down and check the connections in the Car 51 garage because they clearly have not heard Joe and are continuing on their own under Code 60. One car on track.
If he has just gone out, and I don't know if the 51 car has just gone out, if he has just gone out on his new set of tyres or on what would have been his qualifying run, then he's just going to stay out there and keep some temp in the tyre. And he's not just the only one out there. We're looking at
He is the only one out there.
No, car
There's a Porsche, I can see.
Hasn't had a chance to come back in yet.
Ah,
He's the only
right,
one who's
here
gone
he is.
past the line. It's Klaus Bachler, who should know better, and the team should know better. It's not an out lap. His last lap wasn't an out lap. So
Car 75, which is, of course, the car, the Hoffa car, the blue A5 BMW that's in with a chance of the overall championship. That's gone out, which hasn't been seen much. It's gone out and it's gone out to get some fuel to prepare for its assault on the A5 pole, which would normally we go, so what? But it's very, very important because they may well springboard them to the championship.
Well, listen, there's half an hour remaining, and the tow straps are ready to lift Marionek and his BMW from its deposited area at the end of the...
It's Thomas Erdley in that car.
Oh, it was Erdley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Marionek had just handed it over. Yes, you're right.
Car number 9's going around.
Woo!
But he had just
Has
put
he
his tyres on.
eschewed the pit?
He had just put his tyres on.
Oh, the Aston Martin is eschewing the pit lane as well.
It's like...
A 170, and
think
that's
it-
Ollie Hancock. He's obviously hoping to work some of the temperature out of those tyres.
There's 4 more that come in.
Well, you're going to have, as you know, it's arguable whether or not you sat on the pit lane or tooling round at 60 k's.
True.
I don't think there's much difference between that temperature-wise. You are going to be able to keep the heat into the wheel, into the carcass of the tyre, via the brakes, though.
So
That's the only thing you're going to be able to do.
The slight problem for Ollie Hancock in this white and blue Aston Martin, if you're watching it on 24hour.com, 24hourseries.com's website live streaming, is that even though he may have temperature in the brakes and temperature in the tyres, and he's clever enough to be able to work that into it using brake and throttle and so on and so on, the moment we go green, there'll be 45 cars piling out of the pit lane on the slow lap. So he's got to somehow time going green as he starts his fast lap and gets by the pit lane.
Well,
or
you'd think that, Martin, but they're all trolling off slowly now. So they're all kind of
Maybe
thinking,
they're all
yeah, let's
coming
find myself some space.
Let's get some temp.
They're all
right.
going, let's troll around for a lap, or let's get a bit of fuel, which some of them are doing. So I think there's going to be an even, all the cars are going to be kind of evenly spaced and holding each other up.
yes,
Apart from the Clio, which won't hold anyone, because it's the slowest car.
I know we didn't, but it's as if we scripted this to bring out that code 60 right towards the edge of this qualifying session, to bring it down to a bit of a crescendo of a finish, a grandstand finish.
bring
I
it
think
down to a crescendo. I'm
But-
still having trouble with Nick saying how the slowest car out there, the Clio, won't be holding anybody up.
No, it won't be held
and
up
you're
by it.
bringing us
Won't-
down
no,
to a crescendo.
I said it would be held up. The only car that's not held up is the slowest car.
Those are the words you meant to use.
Well,
Said
you
not.
know.
And so it begins.
I think, yes, exactly. Anyway, so
Minutes to the green flag.
how
So
many?
anybody who's not fired their engines up, start your engines.
ladies, there it goes.
Here we go.
There's one car going, there goes the 91, so still no sign of the 92, which James Kay planted in a barrier, but the car which Jake Camilleri planted in a barrier, that's fine. Well, he didn't, he had an off, he just filled it with gravel.
Okay,
Whereas, of
fair
course, James Kay had an accident, a crash.
And we are basically all heading out there in our nice trackies, fully warmed up, against an open goal, because the car that has set the fastest time is the one that brought out the code 60. We go green with 25 minutes of qualifying exactly remaining and an open goal. The fastest car so far that has the current lap record for the class and for the series is being recovered on a flatbed after his driver planted it on an outlap. And that means that everybody else is going to have 25 minutes to tilt for pole here in Brno. Green flag conditions once more at the circuit of Brno, the final race weekend of the 24-hour International Endurance Series powered by Hankook. Live coverage of qualifying on radiolemans.com and live streaming on 24hourseries.com. Don't forget, you can also find the timing and scoring courtesy of our timing partners, BRM chronographs, on the website too. Martin Haven, Joe Bradley, and down in the pit lane, Nick Damon. And Nick, a fast emptying pit lane after last code 60 gave everybody a chance to reset, retire, and gird their loins for the final moments. Session
Down
is going to
to-
be prolonged by another 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh.
we're going to add 5 minutes to this session, so we're going to run to 20 past 5 p.m., which is going to negate that bit of time that we lost there due to that code 60. Now, I'm not really sure what the thinking is behind that, but there it is. We are going to go 5 minutes.
Now, very oddly, the car 9, the Hoffa Pro-Am car, has now come in the pits after doing an extra lap for no discernible reason during the code 60. Now it's gone green, it's come in, and it's getting a new set of boots, but I'm not quite sure why they trolled round for the extra lap. So with that, I can only see about three of the running cars are in the pits. Obviously, the various broken cars are still in the pits, but do you have like a ticker saying how many cars are on track?
Yes.
How many cars are on track?
All but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Everyone's going green now. In the pits are the number 30 Ram racing car, Thomas Jaeger at the wheel. Number 10.
That's getting fuel.
Number 10 Hoffa Motorsport car.
Just got fuel.
The RPD Ferrari, that's in the pit lane. So is Roland Eggerman. Roland Eggerman. He's just is the second of the Team Alchamp Peugeot, is the 205 car. That is fastest. Sports BMW. That's just gone. That is still in. That's the M235. RTL Project KTM's sundry are dotted around the place. Hofer Motorsport, all the Hofer Motorsport cars are in.
No, the 10's just gone out. It had fuel.
The 75
Is he? I didn't see him come back in again.
and the Bears Racing BMW is in. And
To my
James
left.
Kay's car is in as well.
In
so-
pieces.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have got the nose back on it now, so he may get some running before the end of the
Reconstruction.
26 minutes.
Oh, the clock's just reset itself from 21 minutes to 26 minutes 45 seconds. That's very good. So I was thinking
It's
20 and
especially
5
good
minutes.
because the last 5 minutes I'm on time and a half.
Yeah. I think you'll find the last 5 minutes you're actually on dinner break.
Ah, good point.
Yes.
The 75 is not in the pits.
It just went past us in the pits, Nick. I don't know whether he's gone straight through.
Nah, he must have gone for the fuel.
He's gone for fuel.
75 is in.
Yeah, he's in the pits. He's definitely gone on the pit lane.
Nick's not right there. He's the
I
other one.
am actually at there.
He looked away and the car snuck by him.
That happens a lot.
Yes. Still no development on the timing screens in front of us.
However, one improvement for MSG Motorsport, Klaus Bachler has jumped onto page 1 and up to 12th quickest in the number 51 Porsche, 2:07.9. All right, that's 6 seconds away from our fastest lap, but he is now the leader of the 997 class
Yes, he's just took the lead off the 62 car.
by only 11 seconds. Oh no, that was their last lap by half a second.
0.3, just under 4/10.
Yeah.
There's the 62 car on our screens now. So he'll be looking like he wants to regain that pole position for the 997 class. He had a very slow lap when we went green. He's now, the attitude of the car looking very much like it's up to speed. He's going to be blocked in the very all-important final turn. And he did indeed have to go heavy on the brakes. So he's lost a lot of momentum, which he will lose all the way down that straight past the pit. So he's not going to make any impression on that 997 pole position.
No, that's Jean-Francois Demorge. I'll tell you what, if he can beat Klaus Bachler in a straight fight in qualifying, and we're watching Bachler in the 51 cars, silver, blue, and sort of green, would you call that?
Lime green, isn't it?
Slime
Fluorescent,
green.
fluorescent.
Well, the fluorescent bits are, but the other bit is more sort of pond mould green. Attractive colour scheme, obviously, on the 51 car. But that is the car, Klaus Bachler.
Now that car looks like he's on it because the attitude of the car under braking there for turns 13. Now he's just going through 14, final turn of the lap and out onto the start-finish straight. He'll come past us in a moment. Just streaks out of the final turn there.
That
And comes by
997
us.
pole sitting class car in 12th place. He goes quicker again, 2:07.5, and his rival is now down to third, Jean-Louis Demorge, because up into second place in the second place in SP2 has gone the GC10, which is that GC Automobiles V8 tube frame special that looks a bit like it should be a Mercedes DTM car.
But it's got a BMW badge bodywork, hasn't it? It's a bit of a, it's kind of a silhouette. It's a tube frame silhouette car, mid-engine.
It can be anything depending how hard they
Yes.
hit it previously.
All right.
It's a car that has been around for many years in Creventic and has caught fire many times, I'm honest, but last couple of times they seem to sort it out. It's done quite well this year, but in previous years it was most famous for its conflagrations. Correct use of the word this time.
Danny van Dongen, fastest at the moment in SP3. No improvement on the 212 that I think was set by Cor-Oyser. Carl Wendlinger, though, in the number 5 car collection Mercedes. Joe just points to the screen. He's done a 2:03.1. He's now up to 4th fastest ahead of Marco Bastian and Adrian Renauer in the HP and HB racing Mercedes and Porsche, respectively. So, Tool Carl. Now, he must have raced here in FIA GT1 and actually in FIA GTs, I betcha. So he goes 4th quickest.
And we've got a change for provisional pole with a 2-minute 1.498, putting him almost 0.3 of a second on the pole. Goes Lance David Arnold in the number 33 Advance Automotive Mercedes SLS.
So it's taken him 2 laps to score in the open goal, but he has scored in the open goal. Fastest lap of the session, fastest lap of the weekend, 2:01.498 for Porsche driver Lance David Arnold.
Question is, how long does it take to get the tyres up to temperature?
Good point.
Yeah,
And
good lap.
And then you have to get a clear lap as well. And that's even harder with 35 to 45 cars, of which you are the fastest and only 5 others are at the same speed as you.
Improvement from Thomas Jaeger. He goes 4th, pushes Carl Wendlinger down to 5th. Ram Racing's number 30 Mercedes, 2:02.50. And that is not... it was 2:02.7 they managed before, wasn't it? So that is quicker than that car went in the first session as well. So Thomas Jaeger, the most experienced of the driving lineup at Ram in terms of being at this circuit before. Who's just gone quick? Christian Frankenhout has just gone up to 12th place for racing number 9 Mercedes.
Keep an eye out on that number 33 Lance David Arnold Mercedes, though, because I have a sneaking suspicion that the 3rd lap will be the optimum lap on the tyres. That is, if the driver gets it right and has a clear lap. The Hankook tyres are a very hard-wearing compound, and it will probably be the 3rd lap where you will see the optimum time coming from that tyre, and then the tyre will go off and plateau to a point. So keep an eye out on track and on our TV screens for that number 33 coming through.
Right, we need to have a little examination of who is driving the number 2 HP Racing Mercedes, because all of our printed lists say Harry Procik, Reinhold Renger, Carsten Tilke and Hubert Haupt. However, our timing screen says Nico Bastian, or N Bastian, and he's the only N Bastian I know. The spelling is correct, he's just not on any of our entry lists. However, it might be Germain, since he seems to be going quite quickly. Correct use of the word Germain. Thomas Jaeger, 2nd quickest for Ram Racing now. So he too has gone by the abandoned or recovered number 32 BMW Z4, 1100ths off pole for Ram Racing.
He's reduced the gap. It was 3/10. Lance David Arnold just comes through on a 2:07, so that's way off the potential of a 2:01 and less. So that my theory of the 3rd lap being the optimum lap is either completely wrong or is being held up somewhat.
Yeah, or
now,
perhaps...
that suggests that.
Yeah, perhaps he's found traffic, or perhaps he's now having a slower lap to cool the tyres and just allow them a little bit of time to come back. Hello.
The names on the side of the number 2 are Christian Tilke, Hubert Haupt, Nico Bastian and W. Weege, sorry. I don't know who he... sorry, M. Weege. I don't know who he is. M. Weege. So it's nothing like the entry list.
So no Harry Procik.
No.
And no Reinhold Renger. Okay,
no.
Well, Nico Bastian, that was the only M Bastian I know of, so I was having a plump there. Oh, car in the gravel, so that'll kibosh a lap or 2.
It's currently 5th in class, the 997 class. It's the Minius-driven B2F competition Porsche.
Michel Mitius.
Down in 21st place overall. He is in the gravel, and we are not going. We've got a local yellow.
Yeah, that's the last corner. They can actually tow him back
straight to the pit lane.
Well, to what isn't the pit lane entrance, but is an alternative. I think that's the MotoGP pit lane entrance. We come round the final corner and then peel in. Right. MotoGP possibly come in the back end. I may be wrong on that.
Let's see just how well we can recover this car. He's being pulled off by a 4x4 vehicle, course vehicle. And of course, the front end of the Porsche digs into the gravel and acts like a big snowplow moving gravel as he does. We need to get him out of the deep gravel, that's what we do, and they have done indeed. They've pulled him towards the grass. So that number 47 Porsche being recovered.
A couple of quick laps coming in. Christian Frankenhout in the Hofer Mercedes number 9, quicker again than their previous best. Christian Engelhardt also going quicker than his previous best in the MRS GT Racing number 20 Porsche, and that car is currently, well, it remains the pole sitter in the 997 class. 51, Lance David Arnold has handed that over. I don't mean, yeah, 51 was Lance, no, who was...
51 what, Mark?
Who was the other driver of 51 who's not on our entry list, but who we knew was driving it when it was going quickly? Who's just got out and I therefore have immediately forgotten.
That's in the 997 class, isn't
it? TBA. It was Super Cup driver. Anyway, Felix Wimmer and Luca Rettenbacher are the other two drivers. I think Luca Rettenbacher's now got in.
The entry list is usually finalised by tomorrow morning in readiness for the race, so
Or by the time it finishes.
Yeah. no, they usually do have that sorted by race start tomorrow.
Now some more evacuees from the pit lane. Coming out is Matteo Malucelli in the number 11 Scuderia Praha Ferrari. Don't forget that car was second fastest about midway through the session. Just under 17 minutes remaining, so this might be a good time to strike. It hasn't done many laps in this qualifying session.
It's exactly the time to strike. This is the witching hour within the final 20 minutes of this qualifying session. This is where people are going to go for a run. One, because there's, as the clock begins to tick, there's less chance of people challenging for and beating your time. So this is when you want to optimize everything.
Nico Bastian continuing to hold the driver's seat at HP Racing. He is chatting to the team in the pit lane. Their Mercedes is currently 8th up on jacks, and our top 9 cars, in fact 10 of our top 11 are all in the A6 class. That's the fastest category GT3 cars. And the interloper is the SPX Lamborghini Huracan, the yellow and green car run by Leipert Motorsport. Ram Racing's Thomas Jaeger has just left the pit lane again. So Lance David Arnold, the fastest car at the moment, the number 33 car, not on track at the moment the fastest, but has set the fastest time. That is our front runner at the moment. However, Christian Frankenhout in the number 10 Mercedes is on 3rd quickest in the Hofer Racing car, 2:01.78. So we've got 2800s, Nick Damon, covering the top 3.
And I'm looking at our previous poleman, the 32 car. That's had a pretty good slap. He's destroyed the rear left wheel. That's gone against the barrier. The front left is slightly deranged. The bottom of the car is not very happy either. He's taken off the splitter and the under tray. So he's nosed in and spun round and hit the rear left. Obviously, it shouldn't do the tub because it's not a tub car, so it's a case of unscrewing and bolting on lots of bits. But he's certainly going to be impinging on their insurance policy, put it that way.
Wonder what the minimum ride height is in the championship from Mercedes SLS. We've just watched the number 33 car going all the way around the long 180-degree turn 1, sparking from the left front corner of its under tray. The number 32 BMW we're now seeing on screen on 24hourseries.com. And yeah, it looks like that's a work in progress. It'll be out again tomorrow. I wonder what the rules are with having to do nighttime running.
Yeah, good point.
It's unlikely to do much nighttime running. There's not an awful lot of time, is there? One of our two, which one of our two Mercedes is this? With the greeny highlights on that. I think that was number 5 car collection car. And for a team where all the drivers are German, not quite sure what sort of a Turkish and green and yellow flag. I didn't recognise that with the Siglums, the half moon in the start there. Very damaged rim on the number 32 car, left rear corner, as Nick Damon had described so eloquently, is S-hagged, isn't it, properly? So that has been off and won't be back on again.
Yes, that's the one for it.
Okay, so time on the clock, 13 minutes and 26 of your
I think it's safe to say now that
seconds.
I think it's safe to say now I have completely got my pole prediction time wrong, but there we go. I've lost 1,000 havens already, but it's between you two now.
Well, I did think you were being very optimistic, guys,
It wasn't.
with 57.
It wasn't as wet as I thought it was.
Well, no, we had a dry line and we weren't far off. You know,
I
we
was just
weren't
thinking.
far off.
I was looking at it cleaning up and everything else, you know, and soft tyres, but they haven't got any of those things.
That's
So
just what I'm going to do with me million havens now. That's what I've
it's
got.
only 1,000 havens.
30,
I thought it was a million.
30 seconds from wet to dry is, yeah, okay, that's quite a bit, that's doable. 35 to 36, that's quite a lot, even on a long lap, and this is a long lap as well.
It is.
This is no Brands Hatch Indy circuit, this is a long lap, 3.5 miles, and it's a long run as well.
There's the number 11 Ferrari through with a 2:07.6. That's still way off.
Yeah,
It's
Matteo
potentially.
Malicelli. In fact, this is the start of his flying lap
Flying
because
lap.
his last one was an out lap. Out lap 2 for Thomas Jaeger completed, so he is now coming round to start a flying lap. Jaeger's in sector 2 at the moment. Across the line goes the 51 Porsche, and Rettenbach 2:07.111 compared to 2:06.5 of their fastest lap by their Super Cup driver who's lost. Christian Engelhardt? No.
No. Yeah. Yes.
No, he's in one of them, but I don't think he's in that one. I need to write these things down.
What number?
51. He's not on the entry list, don't worry.
He is on this one.
Who? TBA. Oh, it's Klaus Bachler, that's who it is. Right, I'm going to have to write that down now before I forget. Klaus. Yes. So he was the one who set the time.
Yes.
Talks amongst yourselves while parish notices are concluded here in the vestry.
Yes, and into the pits is the A6 class Porsche, number 7. That car currently is in 6th place overall, 2:01.9, not far off.
That was third quickest
position.
earlier on,
It was
wasn't it,
indeed.
with
It was.
Alfred. And Alfred Renner has done a lot of laps in that. So
Only half a second off the pole mark, not that far.
and not far ahead. Oh, actually, he's a long way ahead of Carl Wendlinger's car collection Mercedes, car number 5, which is 1.6 off pole and 1.1 off 5th place. That's where the big gap is, because our leaders from Lance David Arnold's number 33 Mercedes down to 6th position, Alfred Renau's Porsche, 0.44 of a second.
Yeah, half a second between the first 6 cars bodes well for tomorrow's 12 hours.
That is the sound of me rubbing my hands together,
Yeah.
not because we're cold, because we've now burned all the chairs, but because we could be in for a very entertaining final 10 minutes. Come on, let's see some quick laps coming in.
10 minutes, Martin. This is a 12-hour race tomorrow.
Never
And
mind
if these
that.
cars are that close, over 12 hours, we're going to have 6 cars potentially in with a chance. And you can't discount just because they haven't gone well in qualifying or as well in qualifying. 2:03.1, 2:03.4 for Carl Wendlinger and Nico Bastian. Wendlinger are both in Mercedes. That's down to 8 cars. And then Kenneth Heyer is in 9th, and now Kenneth always at the front of the car. And then the G Private Racing Mercedes of Zermstein in 10 cars
Yeah.
in with a shout for over the 12-hour distance.
A3T, by the way, Phil Quaife now in the car that is top of the pile, the Mehmet Ogilvy Seat Leon. Second in A3T is... Oh, second and third are the team Altran Peugeot 208, 205 and number 208. In SP2, it's RPD's Ferrari that is fastest, and the GC Automotive car in second quickest, and Mark Carr's Australia 91 car, that's Mark Carr's 1, Kevin Kozulki, that is third in SP2. Thomas Jaeger starts a lap. Now the last one was not as quick, 2:02.4, but Lance David Arnold's last lap was 2:02.44 to 4:3 of Jaeger. Christian Frankenhout just gone back out. Matteo Malicelli not making much impression. 5 seconds off the fastest lap for the number 11 Ferrari last time round. And he's just has completed sector 3. So with so many cars, 50 cars on track, there is all sorts of opportunity for running into traffic.
Lance David Arnold in number 33, our provisional pole sitter, is in the pits, in the pit lane, and he's taking on new tyres. Now the tyres that have come off...
Matteo Malicelli, while he does, has just got second quickest, 2:01.548.
Now, I don't know if Nick was anywhere near that number 33.
I was.
Pit. Did he take on 4 tyres, Nick, or just 2 on the left?
4.
4 tyres, 4 fresh tyres. So, with...
Left side only does work here at Brno,
Yes,
because
yeah.
it's so right-hand affirmative a track.
8 minutes remaining then.
Wendlinger now
Did
pushed
you
down to...
notice the 92 Mark cars have got out as well? So James K car has left the pits, so they won't fit. They can get a couple of laps in, and as long as it's pointing straight, they won't start at the back of the grid.
Okay, so Nico Bastian has set the fastest lap for the number 2 HP Racing Mercedes. He had just come out of the pits. So that car now back up to 7th. I anticipate the next lap being quicker. And having goaded Matteo Malicelli by saying he wasn't making much impression on his first couple of laps, he clearly has. The car is now second fastest Ferrari number 11 for Scuderia Praha, the local team. They're flying the Czech colours here. Czech team, Czech owners, Czech drivers, half of them, and Czech sponsor. So they are really looking for something big here. Cameras are following Christian Frankenhaus. This is possibly building up to speed. This is his first lap, first flying lap out of the pits. Lance David Arnold has now left the pits as Thomas Jaeger has gone fastest of all in the Ram Racing Mercedes, 2:01.3. Joe Bradley suggesting a 1:59.2, and I said maybe a high 58 as the potential pole time. I don't think we're going to get 3 seconds quicker than this. I think you might be in the money there, Joe, having chosen the least adventurous of all the gambles.
We've got Lance David Arnold out on a fresh set of tyres too, so there's more to come from the 33 Mercedes, as well as, let's not forget, the Malicelli Ferrari is still on it. 2 minutes 6.1 was his last time through.
And so we're only talking about the cars that are in the top 10.
That's right.
There are similar battles for class pole as well, and actually they're coming streaming by our commentary box at the moment. Green after green after green lap, so...
Yeah, particularly the battle for the 997 class with the Porsche class.
Just as you say that, the two leading cars in 997 have gone out together. The 20 and the 51 MRS GT and MSG Motorsports Porsches have left the pit lane together.
There's a half a second between them, though, Martin, and that's a lifetime round here.
Nico Bastian is in the faster of the two. No, he's not. Christian Engelhardt, rather, in the faster two, number 20 car. And Rattenbacher in the other car. Christian Engelhardt, if he doesn't get pole, if Rattenbacher gets pole off Engelhardt, that will be a mighty, mighty effort. Third in 997 is the De Morgue Porsche. And fourth in 997 is the other French, the Lorient Racing Porsche. But they're a long way behind, so it is a battle. Thomas Jaeger, what's he doing? Completed, okay, best lap for the number 30 Ram Racing car, 2:01.315. Second best lap, which he's just completed, 2:01.329. So he has not only the fastest lap, he also has the second fastest lap, so if he loses one, he's still on pole. Lance David Arnold's out lap was a 4 minutes, and a much quicker lap from Matteo Malicelli, 2 minutes 0.918. So Malicelli finds nearly a second in that Ferrari on that lap. So there is less traffic out there. There are fewer cars, probably.
He's found a second, Martin.
20 of the 50 cars are on pit road at the moment.
He's found a second in the Ferrari, but he's also put himself on pole position by 0.4 of a second. And that's quite a margin. Now, you know what? Track conditions are improving, but only slightly improving. We've got perhaps the best of a bad deal at the moment with just under 4 minutes remaining.
The Ferrari cruising as well, having set that time and had that come up on his dash. He is just giving the tyres a little breather in case he needs them again. So Matteo Malicelli for the local Scuderia Praha team sets the pace. Christian Engelhardt is still our 997 pole sitter, but Reckenbacher goes across the line. Engelhardt has not followed him yet. Where's Engelhardt's car? No, hasn't gone across the line just yet, so he's about quarter of a lap behind. Fastest lap from Christian Frankenhaus to go third quickest in the number 10 Hofer Racing Mercedes. 2:01.397, and they have jumped up from 5th or 6th position. Thomas Jaeger comes across the line, 2:05.2 in the number 30 Ram Racing Mercedes. Has that car shot its bolt? Are there no more laps left in his tyres? He was out pretty much at the same time as Matteo Malicelli, but was setting faster laps earlier. Now, if he continues to press on, and he is, definitely, from the attitude of the car. This may not be about pole now, this may be about seeing what the car is going to do in dry conditions, consistently being pushed very hard, because nobody's really had the opportunity to find that out so far today. Malucelli coming towards the end of the lap. I don't think he's coming into the end, so
he's back certainly right off 2 minutes 12.
on that lap, but in the last couple of corners he did look like he was leaning on the car a lot more, so let's see if he comes across the line.
Yeah, so he's probably backed off on that lap, and now he's optimised his line through the final turn for another run, just to safeguard belt braces. Don't stop, keep pushing.
2 Mercedes, Nico Bastian, no improvement from him.
We've got a red light, we've got a red flag.
1 minute 52 of the session remaining, red flag. Session is over with immediate effect.
I have no idea why, Martin, I didn't see anything.
I haven't seen anything either. So it is pole for Scuderia Praha, the Ferrari. Matteo Malucelli setting a blinding lap. His last lap, by the way, 2 minutes 12.1, so he was definitely cruising. But Peter Cox and the team looking very happy with that. They will start on pole Sunday morning. The story in Brno will be the Czech team and their Czech drivers have pole position for the race in the Czech Republic. Thomas Jaeger for Ram Racing, second fastest. Christian Frankenhout for Hofer Racing Mercedes, third. And it's a Mercedes 2, 3, 4. Lance David Arnold in the 33 SPS car goes fourth. The car that was for a long time on top of the pile, the 32 BMW Z4, Senka Motorsports car will start fifth, and Alfred Renau's HB Racing Porsche will start in sixth position. Nico Bastian in the HP Racing Mercedes seventh, Carl Wendlinger's Car Collection Mercedes eighth, ninth Isaac Tutumlu Lopez in Lippert Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan. That car is in the SPX class, not in A6. And 10th is Kenneth Hyers, Hofer Racing Mercedes, the number 9 car. So he is 9th in the category. 10th in A6 is the G Private Racing Mercedes. That number 24 car is 11th on the grid. Our other class pole sitters, SP2 is RPD Racing's Ferrari. That's the other red car. That's the more cup spec 458 Ferrari. That sits on pole in SP2. Christian Engelhardt for MRS GT Racing on the 997 pole in his Porsche, ahead of the number 51 car. And looking further down, A5, Koroiser set the lap a long while ago in the Lotus Evora to claim, I beg your pardon, in the, he set the SP3 pole, didn't he, in the Lotus Evora? Koroiser, yes. And he was in at the end. That's the number 160 Lotus Evora, that's in 20th place. And Koroiser Racing's BMW has the A5 pole as well, 22nd overall. Car number 83, Ricardo van der Ende. Another very talented driver in the qualifying in that car. Looking further down, I'm trying to find another class pole.
A3T, Mon?
We've done that. That 95. Was the Lotus Evora. Oh no, hang on, A3T. Oh yes, so Phil Quaife was in the car, and I think he might have set the lap early on, actually, in the Memek Ogilvy Racing Seat Leon. And our remaining class is A2, which is the Lubna Motorsport Renault Clio number 127. Now, we didn't speak very much about that, although we've seen it on screen a few times. So who's in 1-2? So it's going to take me the rest of the day now to figure it out. Oh, so Daniel Barr, Christian Fergeli, Jens Lonig and Georg Brown for Lubna Motorsport. So, dramatic end to a tense qualifying session at the end of what has been a misty, then a wet, and in the end, a sort of dry but cold day here at the Circuit of Brno.
Challenging conditions throughout the session is what we saw for the 90 minutes of qualifying. We saw the number 80 car demolish itself, or demolish part of itself, against the barrier. We then had the excitement mounting with the code 60 being called, and then we went back to green with about 26 minutes left in the session. That really did bring this qualifying session to an ultimate climax.
Hello guys.
Well, it was good because it kind of gave us 2 qualifying sessions, and the final part of qualifying, a 25-minute dash for the cash, ended a minute and a half early. I don't think it had a germane effect on anybody's laps. Don't think Ram Racing had another lap in that set of tyres. Let's get down to the pit lane and hear from Nick Damon. Nick, who have you got for us?
I have our pole sitter. It's Matteo Malucci. Matteo, fantastic result there. Where'd that come from? You pulled a couple of seconds from nowhere.
Yeah, we were lucky also for the traffic, but I think it's for everybody difficult because we can also do better, but that was enough. And so it's a good point to start for tomorrow, and there is the race of our team house. So we are really proud to start on pole, and we do our best.
Well, how much were the conditions changing out there? Was the track getting much better, or are you just getting more used to it?
No, the track is slippery because the temperature is not so hot. We have a problem. The car is good with the rain, but not when it's drying. But with the dry, we know we are fast. So I hope tomorrow for a dry race.
So thank you very much. Well done with our A6 pole sitter there.
Well, well done to Nick for grabbing Matteo straight out of the car. Fantastic effort from Matteo Malucelli. Great effort early on from Peter Cox as well to show real intent for that car. And of course, a Czech team on pole position. I don't think the red flag really affected Ram Racing. I'm not sure there was enough speed left in their set of tyres. They started their sequence of fast laps earlier. That rounds out our qualifying here from Brno. So it is approaching 5:30. Somebody rather ambitiously